Hello and welcome to today's episode of the Jacksonville Jaguars Insider Podcast. My name is John Shipley. I am your host and beat reporter. And today we are talking about the NFL's suddenly, once again, increasingly astonishing salary cap. I guess stunningly isn't exactly the word, but it just kind of goes to show that every year the NFL salary cap reaches a number that just makes our eyes completely bug out of our head. And it was no different this year. It was expected for the salary cap to take a big jump. And here is what NFL Network's Tom Pelissero had to report. He said the NFL informed clubs today it is projecting a 2026 salary cap in the range of $301.2 million to $305.7 million per club per source. This would represent another significant jump from this year's $279.2 million cap number and nearly $100 million more than the $208.2 million cap number in 2022. So just think about that, guys. Remember the spending spree the Jaguars went on in 2022? Remember the reactions when they paid Christian Kirk and Darius Williams and Foye Oluokun and Evan Ingram and Zay Jones, that it was basically the Jaguars were destroying the market of football in its entirety. The cap has jumped by nearly $100 million since then. Just think back to 2017 when the Jaguars spent a ton of money that offseason, getting guys like Calais Campbell, getting guys like obviously AJ Boye. I mean, 2017, the cap was $167 million. It's just about $140 million more than it was then. I mean, you're seeing this cap just jump massive numbers. And it wasn't doing, I'd say, these kind of leaps in the past. I mean, we see it rise every year, but $100 million jump over a 3-year period is pretty bananas. I mean, you can go to 2022 and look at what the number was 2 years before that. It was about a $30 million jump. I mean, for example, just seeing how the cap's risen each year. Up by $10 million in 2014. Up by $10 million the next year. About $12 million the next year. $11 million. $10 million. $11 million. You're obviously sensing a theme here. 2021, it actually went backwards. And then it goes up about 25 million, and then a little under 20 million, and then about 30 million, and then again 20 or so. And now here we are. That is another big increase for the cap. What does it mean for the Jaguars? The Jaguars are one of these teams that, there's a good argument to make that when you see, rising cap figures, who does, the rising numbers and figures help the most? I'd argue that it's the teams that are a little more cap strapped at the moment. The teams already have a lot of cap. Yeah, it gives them even more cushion to, be aggressive and whatnot. But this also is a situation where they were going to have some flexibility regardless. This can obviously help shape decisions for teams who don't have a lot of cap room at the moment. And right now, the Jaguars are one of those teams. I've been banging the drum, people. I think they're going to be aggressive in free agency and sign some valuable guys, but I don't think they're going to spend big. I don't think that they're going to go on a spending spree like 2022 or 2024 or 2017 or in any of those seasons. I think that they're going to sign a lot of contracts similar to last year, though even some lower tier ones than they did last year. I don't know if they sign a Jordan Lewis or a Patrick McCarry level contract this time around. But because of this rising cap, teams like the Jaguars, it just gives them more breathing room. And the Jaguars, I think right now are 24th in cap. I think with this figure, they're right about to, I want to say like $7 million over the cap right now with what it's projected to be, $7 to $9 million, depending on the range. I think that obviously for the Jaguars, one area that you need to see them improve in is seeing them clean up their cap to a degree just because of, obviously that they're paying plenty of guys in dead cap. Tyson Campbell is a big one of them. But there are some guys to watch in terms of their contracts can easily, kind of be touched, be post June 1st, whatnot. Eric Armstead's one of those. I mean, they would save, I don't have the exact figure in front of me. They would save a considerable amount of money. Ezra Cleveland, I think, is an option if you feel good about Wyatt Milam, starting moving forward. They definitely have their options to do so. I think it also gives them the room to, they can get more creative with, okay, do we want to take any more dead cap hits this year in terms of getting out of these deals? That's when the cap increase, I think, really helps teams. It can help them just kind of rip the Band-Aid off some moves that they want to move away from, as opposed to maybe helping them add some guys. Now, of course, it can help you in that sense as well. A team sees the cap's going up by $30 million, maybe they projected 20 to 25 million. That gives them a bit more room to work in free agency. But like I've been telling you guys, and I'm not sourcing this or anything, I feel strongly about this because of what I know about what their philosophies are and the men that the Jaguars have kind of leading, the charge on this front. I think one way or another, the Jaguars, have to accept that they aren't going to be major players in free agency for a bit. I mean, they have a quarterback on a giant deal. They have the pass rusher on a giant deal. They obviously, sign Jacoby Myers, Cole Van Lannon. They have a couple contracts coming up still that are worth, examining this offseason. Guys like Trayvon Walker, obviously. Guys like Parker Washington, Princeton Strange, Antonio Johnson's another guy. They have the 5th-year option with Anton Harrison, but if you want to get him done a year early, you kind of know what you're working with. As you're moving forward, which guys you want to prioritize and how much room you're going to have to do so, whether you want to do it this year or next year. Because now they know the cap's going up this much this year. Here's what it can maybe be next year. So at the end of the day, I think this is big for every team, obviously, but it's especially big for teams like the Jaguars who need that flexibility. I mean, that could be the difference in maybe a player staying or going. I don't think it'd be the difference in like several players, but I think it can be enough of a difference where it makes a substantial impact on how teams are kind of planning for free agency. Will it change their entire approach? I doubt it. But what I do think it will change is kind of the exact parameters of their flexibility moving forward. And I think that's huge for the Jaguars. I mean, the best thing the Jaguars could want is to have flexibility in this offseason. To not be handcuffed or pushed into a corner to make certain moves. That's what the Jaguars have. That's what the Jaguars need to take advantage of. And like I've said to you guys, I feel very confident the Jaguars are going to operate this offseason in one manner. And I think they're going to sign free agents in some capacity. I think they're going to improve. I think all of these things are very real and very tangible. Do I expect them to be burning money like we've seen past Jaguars off seasons? No. Frankly, I'm not even sure like I said before, if I expect them to spend as much this offseason than did last offseason. It was clear when they did it last offseason, they felt like they had to raise the floor of the team. Like they had to improve what that top level of the depth looked like. So they were okay with spending big on a few guys. And then, of course, signing multiple guys to multiple positions, getting deals done for some lower tier depth guys. I think you can see a lot more deals like the Hunter Longs and Johnny Muntz and Chuma Dogas, whatnot, as opposed to maybe the Jordan Lewis and Patrick McCarry's, maybe, an Eric Murray level deal. But ultimately, I think moving forward, This is good news for the Jaguars, good news for the NFL, but we will see exactly how they plan to address it.